roll. Hello there.
Welcome back.
Welcome, everyone, to the FMC podcast.
Welcome. And we're going to flip the script today
Yeah.
because we're going to do not what we said we were going to do,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is,
Yeah. Which was go through chapters 20 through, or 20, what was it, 21 through 30. We've sort of derailed, finished the book.
yeah, train went off the tracks, but
Anyone
it's
off the
going
track.
somewhere fun.
We are very excited to talk about basically the entire rest of the Shield of Sparrows book. We haven't talked about it at all, you and I.
Many phone calls where we refrained from saying a single thing that we really
Yeah.
wanted to say for that reason.
Yeah. So, well, okay, the whole story was, okay, we shot our episode 11 through 20 back in September. I just rewatched it.
Yeah.
And life happens. October is
Hmm.
always such a crazy month for me, like professionally, and then this year personally. Basically, didn't have a chance to read until quite recently. And
Hmm.
in that time, you had finished.
Yeah, I went rogue without your permission. I was like, look, I respect that you have stuff to do, but also I'm not waiting.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you didn't because, and I mean, you obviously got my message, but while I was reading it this past week, I was like, how could you keep this a secret? This book is amazing. If I was in your shoes, I would have been like, read this now.
Honestly, I think it was for a couple of reasons, but I thought that my impression from what you had communicated to me was that you were so busy that it was like you probably weren't able to, like, even if you wanted to, you'd have to give up sleep to finish it. And so I was like, oh, that's not nice for me to just be taunting her with how good this book is and how much she's missing out on, and you not be able to, like, be multiple weeks away from being able to just touch the book again. So it came
Yeah,
from kindness, but
no, I
I
appreciate
was over here like, the heck, dude.
I mean, I appreciate it. I also, while I was reading it, I desperately wanted to just text you and send all my but I withheld also
Yeah.
for the sake of the podcast.
Yes.
So,
So you're getting our raw reactions and thoughts.
yeah.
Dude, I can't wait. It's gonna be so fun.
Well, okay. So, general impression, how did you rate the book? What
Yeah, what did
overall?
I would say, I think I rated this a solid, like, for me, this was like like 4.5 book. I think on Goodreads, why don't they do half stars? I think I
I
gave it
know.
5 because I was like, I don't want to give it a 4. I think it's definitely, it's between a 4 and a 5 for me.
Okay. I'm giving it high remarks. I really liked this one. It's probably more than five, like 6-star read for me. Like it's one of my favorites. I think it, and we'll talk about this later, but it surprised me. There were some things, and then towards the end, it just got kind of crazy that I was like, oh my God, what is
Yeah,
happening?
yeah.
Really
What
enjoyed
would
it.
you say what was it about the book? Like, obviously it's, kind of keeps moving. It's kind of what
Yeah.
you're saying, but
Yeah.
what is it about this book that gripped you?
Couple things. I just loved the main character. I was laughing out loud during a lot of random shit that she was saying or
Yeah.
like thinking. Loved the FMC. Loved the Guardian. Love the
Yeah, you
Guardian.
did. Yeah, you
Love
did.
love that tension. So that was a thumbs up for me. And then the twist. I was kind of just there for the ride, like didn't really have any
Yeah.
like predictions unlike you, and we'll go
Yeah.
through that. We'll go through that also, but
Yeah, we will.
love the twist. And then at the end when things were happening, I was like, "Whoa, like this is a lot." And
Yeah.
I loved every second of it. Like it was gory and disgusting. I was like, "Oh my
It
God,
was.
what is happening?" But loved it.
Yeah.
So,
This was not a read that was for the like faint of heart.
mhm,
It didn't hit the point of being gratuitous, but it was like, oh,
it kind of came out of nowhere. And it was
yeah,
just
it kind
like
of.
boom, boom, boom.
I think probably because people frame this book and we think of this book as like, oh, that's a book that, like, just girls like to read their
Hmm.
fantasy.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was it. I feel like the reason for me it didn't quite hit a 5 is because I do feel like there were little parts of the book where even as I was reading through, it wasn't like there were days that I was missing or going multiple days without reading. I was like, I'm kind of losing the plot a little bit. I'm like, why is she going to that town? And like, I couldn't fully wrap my head around why certain parts of the plot weren't progressing like
Mm,
at the pace that I thought that they would.
mm-hmm.
There were still things happening, but for example, I didn't know where she was mentally in moments where it was like, okay, well, now she's kind of like, these feelings are brewing. But then also, she's like, there was a part of the book was like, oh, yeah, she's supposed to kill this guy. Like, her
Mm.
dad asked her to kill. Like, there were pieces like that where I was like, how are you planning on doing that when you, A, haven't thought about that, brought that up in a long time, and B, you're like getting close to him?
I mean, that was the whole thing, right? Was she actually gonna kill anybody? That was
No,
her
and
yeah.
no, go ahead. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, no, I was gonna say that was her character. And then also, like, I had the full-on impression going into the book when we first met her that she was not gonna kill him, even though she was tasked with doing
Yeah.
it. Like, there's no way she was gonna.
No, that's a totally fair assumption to make. I think maybe what I was looking for or I wanted a little bit more of that push and pull because that would have at least for her to have moments, one more moment than the one moment at the very beginning where it's like she had the knife close to his throat or something like that when they were
Hmm.
sparring. But it never happened again, was never mentioned
Yeah,
again, and then
yeah.
that just little pieces like that where it was like I would have loved for that tension and that back and forth push and
So
pull to
you,
exist more.
so you wanted more enemies?
Yeah, but more than just enemies, it just felt like little big pieces of the plot. Like her dad sent her there to find Alisaria and to kill the Guardian, and at points it was and maybe that was the point, was it was just going to be her just going deep 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 deep, like booping around everywhere and just trying to like learn more.
Yeah.
I was like, girl,
Yeah,
stuff's
yeah,
happening. So you're gonna
yeah,
have to make a decision, like pick a lane. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I don't know.
yeah,
But I still deeply enjoyed it. But I think
yeah.
there's like that. I love that book talker who does the like there's different 5-star reads and there's the 5-star for
Hmm.
the vibes. There's the 5 stars for just like the literary brilliance of the book. There's
Yeah,
and this was like a little bit of a mix of vibes and writing, but like writing, there were some pieces where I was like, not fully there.
yeah, for sure.
Good vibes
Um,
though. So much fun.
yeah,
4.5 plus.
it was a lot of fun. So, okay, we're gonna go through the book.
Yep.
We're gonna do
Gotta get
this.
moving. We got a lot
Yeah,
of
we gotta get moving.
lot to cover.
So we're gonna do this every 5 chapters so that we can, or summarize every 5 chapters so
So
that we
that we
can.
make ourselves shut up and keep
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess we'll jump right into it. We'll summarize, chat about it, ask questions throughout, but am I missing anything? I think
No,
that's
let's
it.
do this.
Okay. Okay. We'll go
Blow
into
this
it. So,
popsicle stand.
yeah. So, we're starting with chapter 21, going off of where we left off last episode. So, Odessa's in Trial. We learned a little bit about Trial. Now Odessa's training, and then throughout training, she basically is on her own. Guardian leaves and does his thing. We don't really know what he's
Mm-hmm.
doing. Xavier's never around. And here we meet Kathleen, who's the librarian in chapter
Mm-hmm.
21. She finds a book about Quentis. It talks about her dad being a murderer and killing her mother, which
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't believe, and all that stuff. And then we're slowly introduced to some of the monsters that exist, right? We have the
Mm-hmm.
Linewick monster, which is it has a spiked tail and it likes to climb trees. And so we're kind of just like learning more and more about this world this that we
Mm-hmm.
have. Guardian's in the treehouse next to her. And
Mm-hmm.
so and he hears him talking to what sounds like a female voice. And we see Odessa get jealous.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Let's
jealousy
see.
begins. Moving on, we're continuing to train. This time she's training with Talia. Xavier, again, is continuing to travel. King Ramsey shows up and he's burning books. So he's burning
Yes.
libraries. We don't know why. They take all the books. She hides her books in her satchel and where she holds her crown and things like that. But the Guardian catches her hiding these things. Doesn't say anything though. We continue to, I mean, okay, not much is happening these. I think that's we were gonna skip some of these chapters originally because
It
not
was
much is
a lot
happening.
of just building with little
Yes.
pieces. You have no idea if they're important or
Yes.
not.
But then we meet Evangeline, Evie,
Mhm.
little girl, little cutie, and apparently is Xavier's daughter. So, surprise,
Mhm.
surprise, she has a stepdaughter potentially.
Mhm.
She is 4 years old. Mom supposedly died at childbirth. And that's kind of all we know. She's super sweet. She takes lessons or goes to school. We meet Luella, who is her teacher. And
Mhm.
then her and Kathleen are, I get confused between the two of them. I'm like, they're
I
like the same person.
honestly, I feel so relieved that you said that because I
Yeah.
was reading and I was like, Kathleen and Luella, they're the same.
Yeah, basically.
They're not.
Of
They're in no way the same.
they both take care of Evangeline. So basically the same. Guardian. So we're starting to see we see a lot more conversation between her and the Guardian. Gets kind of freaky. He asks how many people she's bedded and then straight up asks her if she's a spy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
back to your point. And then lastly, chapter 35 25. Excuse me. My notes are so funny. It says Xavier is a cute daddy.
Yeah.
Evie is adorable. The Guardian interrupts their walk. Evie says Xavier kills quote unquote sick monsters, whatever that means. That no one talks about Alisaria. It's kind of unheard of. No one really mentions it.
Or they shut
And
down when it's mentioned. Yeah.
yes. And then also we find that soldiers have started to be missing. People are talking around town. A lot of soldiers have gone missing, and Odessa feels like she's being lied to, and
Yeah.
she needs to get out of Triao to find some answers, whatever that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So yes, so that is 21 through 25.
So what were your overall thoughts, impressions of those five? What were your takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like nothing really happened these chapters. I do feel like we were introduced to some very important characters. And then the whole thing about Ramsey burning books was interesting too.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he doing that? What's he hiding? Very parallel to real life is what it felt like. So,
Yeah, I don't have a ton of big takeaways here, except, I think it's very noteworthy that this is her first moment of being jealous because she thinks she hears the Guardian with another woman. And it's not the first time, though, that she's expressed that she's like, well, shoot, I'm like kind of like into this a little bit.
hmm
But that I think in the book, do they call her? They call her Evie, right?
hmm
I just like I saw her in my head and I was in love with her. I don't know if it's that I have an adorable niece and that just like makes it so much easier or what, but I love Evie so much. And I thought I remember being at that part in the book so vividly where she's like, "Excuse me, I'm also like a stepmom now."
Yeah.
And still being at the point in the book where she's like no affection from her spouse
Yeah.
whatsoever, no information. I loved it was this section that you were when you referenced him straight up asking her if she's a spy. I loved that series of questions. I just was like thinking about that from a psychological standpoint of like, why did he go in that order? He
Yeah.
was asking her like all these much more mundane or weird or extremely personal questions, and then
hmm
all of a sudden pivots to like, are you a spy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
loved those are my takeaways from this part.
It's funny. She puts up such a front. Like there's
Yeah,
no way and I don't even know if she hides it. She doesn't hide it well. We'll see. We'll find out later on that
yeah.
everything is very obvious with her when it comes to the Guardian. Xavier having a daughter, like the daughter's a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, people don't know that Xavier has a daughter. So why is
Yeah.
that? She doesn't call him. No, she does call him Papa, but not in front of people. And so, how is this been a kept secret?
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot else there. But I think we push forward. Okay, you're gonna have to correct me on my summaries. But so 26 through 30, Odessa continues her sort of investigations or trying to learn more about what's going on, about Alisaria. And she's kind of learning more about what's going on in terms of like the relationships between the people there and like the politics and just more about the environment, like you said, the all the beasts that are around her. At this point she learns more about Lysa and that it's now affecting monsters and by people. Do we know any more at this point?
No, I think
Okay,
it's very heavily emphasized that it's the monsters that are being
just
affected
monsters
right
for
now.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that may be the like, yeah, okay, we'll just leave it there. And then she and the Guardian are still kind of having their tensions, and she's continuing to like have moments of feeling kind of trapped. Even in the series of chapters you just went through, there's the part where she's like, wait, there are moments where I'm not being followed around anymore. Like Tilia was kind of leaving her alone more. She
Hmm.
wasn't needing as much of someone to babysit her, but they also would take her ladder down at night and then put it back up in the morning. So I would love to come back to that because now knowing the ending, I'm like, was that anything or was that something? And then she's like trying to find a way to escape or learn more, like not escape them, but escape to learn or get more information. Like she's feeling really boxed in. And then Keenan Ramsey's kind of doing his thing that he, like you said, is burning books, like the relationship between him and like Xavier and the Guardian. She's like still trying to fill that out. And she still doesn't have much information about Alisaria, but she's starting to care more about people while still also feeling like she has no information. So I don't know. I'm trying to think other key things that happened here. Anything you can think of?
Yeah, so the big one is the bear wolf happens here. We learn about the bear wolf. We talked about this last time. The clicks, they appear with clicks or whatever.
So creepy.
So she and the Guardian have kind of wandered because she was like, I don't want to be trapped. And he was like, you could have just asked. And so
Yeah.
they like go together, whatever.
Yeah.
They go to an they go to the inn. Well, they get attacked. So essentially the town gets attacked by I think the number was 7 berry wolves. So
That's right. Yeah.
the Guardian kills all of them, not before okay, so she sees the Guardian with this woman
Yes.
and gets jealous, but she dies. Like she gets snatched by a bear wolf. And Odessa feels guilty about it. I think they were like hiding together or something, but she's very affected by this death of this woman who she
Oh
doesn't
wait,
really
is this
know.
where she actually goes to the town that has the library nearby? Like she's already, did I miss that whole part where they've like snuck out?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
I think
So, yes. So sorry, I missed that whole part where she decides she's going to leave Alisaria and she's going to leave Alisaria, leave Triao. And
hmm
so she like hops onto a cart, and on that cart she ends up being trailed off to this town nearby. I forget the
yeah,
name. And she did that with the help of
Ashmore.
Brielle or Jocelyn. Yeah, and she goes to Ashmore secretively. She wants to
Hmm
like get out to learn more information. And as
hmm
she's there, she one of the first people she hears when she pops off that little cart is the Guardian.
hmm
And then she's there, she's trying to sneak around, it's not working. Then he just kind of pops up on her, and then while they're there in this town, it gets attacked by bear wolves. Am I saying
hmm
it right?
Berry wolves? I don't know, but sure, yeah.
Yeah. And so there's this whole thing where the isn't it the girl that she's jealous over is there?
I think she just saw them. She saw him going into like I think they were drinking together and he like goes into her room or she goes into his room or something. Like she
Yeah.
sees she sees them together, and that pissed her off, or that made her jealous, obviously. Soraya, her name is Soraya.
And then
Uh,
she's the one who dies
yes, she does
because
die.
she and part of what I love about this like FMC is that she's like brave without having any sort of like like
Yeah,
powers or anything, and she's just like,
yeah,
no, this isn't right, this isn't okay. And
yeah.
so she tries to, I forget the exact moment, but she tries to help and she tries to distract.
Yeah.
There's like a lady who's moving slow, and so she like distracts
She
them. And
she ends up with a crossbow
yeah,
somehow, some way. Yeah, I mean the Guardian kills most of them except this one, and so she kills it with the crossbow.
yeah,
And oh, there's this moment where she's in front of the Guardian with the crossbow. She has this opportunity to kill him, but she
yes,
doesn't.
that was, yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like her second
Yeah.
opportunity, I
Yeah,
guess.
and also this is where she sees his eyes for the first time turn like a
Yeah,
silver like
the
monster,
changing
like
colors.
she calls him a monster.
Yeah, that was a big moment.
Sick monsters. First big kill. She feel this is one of the people she feels really guilty about because she couldn't save her. Like I think they were like either they were running together or she was telling her to run this way and something
Yeah.
something something and she just Soraya died. So,
Oh, I liked that. I really liked that moment where she asked him kind of like basically like I've been wanting to, I needed to get out, I needed to go, was kind of what she was expressing. And he just says like, why didn't you ask?
mhm.
And did you
Yeah.
ever stop to think that maybe the door to your cage has always been unlocked, Sparrow, and all you had to do is push it open? I was like, why
She's
is
really
that
not
cute?
trapped. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, why was
Yeah.
I into that statement? Yeah.
She has autonomy. What?
Yeah, I liked that a lot. Yeah, you're just like really starting to through this get a better sense of how truly terrifying the Crux migration is because they've got all these hideaways and they're just not
Hmm.
good enough because they can sense, they can smell you even if they can't see you. And so
Yeah.
they were going through Ashmore and there's the, that's just like, I don't know. And this is where I started to just be like, oh, this is terrifying. This isn't like,
Hmm.
oh, survive some big birds and just don't be like dumb about it and you'll be fine. This was like, these are giant bird assassins.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the first time they talk about the green blood and it being Lissa. So those are the quote unquote sick monsters. So
Yeah.
they're not typical. And apparently these ones are traveling in packs. Like they're more they talk about them being bigger packs and more like dialed into kill just to kill
Yeah.
versus hunting, you know what I mean, hunting for food. So they're like
Yeah.
actually aggressively trying to kill people.
Yeah. I think aggressive and unquenchable sort of thirst type of aggression is what
Yeah.
they're seeing. And the
Yeah.
fact that they're traveling in big packs, like you said, is just
It's
all kind of
abnormal.
new. Yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think she kind of realizes through this she has to ask questions. She's like, is that normal? And like the
Mm-hmm.
Guardians, no, it's not normal at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And he answers all her questions. That might
Oh,
be
they have that moment. Yeah. That bow moment is crazy. He like pulls it closer. He's like, do it.
mm-hmm.
She's like, no, but you're hot, so I won't.
It's too obvious. I can't.
Kim would be like, Dad, who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kill this
You
guy?
know what? Or did he tell me to get close to you and marry you?
Shall we move on to the next
Moving
set?
forward. Yep.
Moving forward. Okay, 31 through 35. We have the aftermath of the attack. Odessa again feels guilty. Kathleen is still giving her books. She got her a book on Turin traditions. They are riding to Elder, and the Guardian calls his powers a curse. She's starting to give in a little bit to him, and they're staring at each other.
Your
Just
notes
wrote
are
down.
great, dude.
I know. They arrive in Elder. She has her own private suite with clothes and hair dye. Oh, and so they have a moment in that he knows that she dyes her hair and
Yeah.
basically says that she doesn't need to pretend or be someone else that she isn't. So,
Yeah.
she throws out the hair dye. How sweet.
Yeah.
Super nice. Okay.
It's a freeing moment. Again, don't know how these characters go like their whole lives without being like, why do we dye my hair?
Yeah.
But do it for the plot, I guess.
Next chapter, there's she's spending a lot of time with Evie. She sees Xavier, but has like no feelings when she sees him. She feels guilty about that. Like, why aren't I
Mm-hmm.
missing my husband? Instead, she misses the Guardian.
Yeah.
Wonder why. And then the Guardian gives her a sword because she asked for one. Seems
Yeah, there's
convenient.
also a part where, I mean, so she does sleep on his chest between 31 and
When
32.
when they're when they're traveling.
I think so. Or it's when they're in like the tavern one more night or something like that. It's like beginning of 32. The early light of dawn colored the sky. I'd slept all night against the guardian's chest. So there's that, and then yeah, lots of
So
like the eyes. It always goes back to like I
yeah.
remember I figured out his eye color, and then it's been a while since I read it, and I didn't write it down. Hazel green is good. Hazel
Mm.
is okay, but
Annoyed.
not great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's green. Okay, green is amused. Hazel is he's either focused or annoyed, and then silver is rage.
Silver.
Silver. No one talks about Aliceria in Elder. Xavier leaves again. Where does he keep going? And then Guardian, Des, and Evie go to Triao to get the horse. So Evie's like, I want to go, and the Guardian gives in. The last chapter, 35 for this set, they they finally talk about Lissa, like have that like deep conversation. So Lissa is a sickness. It's infected the monsters. I guess here is when they explicitly say now the monsters are killing to slaughter just because they can. There's
Mm-hmm.
no reason to it. There's no like hunting or anything like that. And then the Guardian talks about his sickness. So he got bit by a bear wolf
Mm-hmm.
and got sick and then revived and then suddenly has these like crazy powers where he basically again is like kind of like a Superman where all of just his regular skills are enhanced. So, an enhanced human. Apparently, the Vosters are trying to figure out what has happened to him and what Lissa really is for years,
Mm-hmm.
but there's nothing. They don't know what it is. First of all, monsters are deadly without the infection, is what they say. With the infection, they're crazy, crazy, more dangerous.
Yeah.
Uh, which is why they're worried. And if it's continues to spread, I mean, yeah, it's obviously not good for
Yeah,
anybody.
isn't the concern that if it go like it alludes to and something that that my passive reading style didn't pick up on? It's like they brought up the idea of, well, what if the Crux get
Hmm.
Lysa, and so I was like, oh yeah, that will be bad.
Yeah, that's
Didn't even
that's
go there
extra
mentally.
extra like yeah. And it's funny because they don't I forget about the crux like kind of throughout this, but the crux is really really bad. People even in hiding don't survive.
Yeah, they're
So
like
that's
buried in these tunnels and they're like clawing underneath cement basically to get them.
yeah, yeah. So if Lissa does that to regular animals, what the fuck is gonna happen if
Yeah.
it gets the
I
crooks?
gotta
So
be honest though, I feel like, because how often does this migration happen again? Do you remember that off the top of your head? It's like
I
once
don't.
every like couple decades or something like that.
Yeah, they haven't. She hasn't experienced one, so it's been at least 20 years, 30, maybe
Yeah,
30 years or something like that.
something like that. It
Because
was just like,
the king experienced one, or someone.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, wouldn't you just put all your blood, sweat, and tears into creating, like, you got like 30 years. Like, we went from like not having phones to like having phones in like short period of
In
time.
what is that,
Like
20
we
years? Yeah,
can't, like we're not okay, so what are we like doing in that time, in
yeah,
that time?
yeah.
Like we really know it's like couldn't make like multiple many layers of cement bunker, no, okay.
Yeah.
That's just my one thought and critique. Maybe there's a reason for that that I missed in my passive reading, but
But So that's through chapter 35.
Then 36 through 40. So I think one of the key things happening here is the Tarkin attack. I think it's at first, it looks like there's one Tarkin, and these are the ones that I imagine they're like the combo between like a tiger and like something that can climb trees really, really well. Odessa kind of gets stuck helping. Is it, I forget, is it Evie and a younger boy up through her treehouse and just kind of has to like she ends up like kind of fighting it on the ladder. Then the
Mm-hmm.
guardian steps in and kills it, saving Odessa and the kids. Tarkin does have visibly green blood. Again, we're just seeing all of them got the green blood. So but basically at the end of the chapter there's kind of like this weird moment between the Foster watching Odessa and raising suspicion that they have some sort of role in it for Odessa, I think. And then Odessa spars with Tilia. She doesn't go easy on her because she's a girl. Odessa kind of gets better, but she's also, this is like the second or third time that she's like highlighting she's sad that he's gonna like leave again. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna miss it. The Guardian returns with the news that there's a Lysa infected lion wick near Rivali. And I was like trying to think back mentally to the map, and I should pull out my book, but the how these places are in relationship to each other. But that's when he goes with Odessa. He takes Odessa again. Like this is his second time taking Odessa with him,
Yeah,
and then
because
she
she
comes up.
asks. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then yeah, she keeps asking like, "Stop leaving me behind. Like, let
Mm-hmm.
me be part of this."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then this is where she comes up with the idea to consult the pony riders to like
Mm-hmm.
see what messages they've. And he is like, actually, that's kind of a good idea. And then this is she also learns that this is where he has Xavier has agreed as well as others, I think, that if his like Lissa gets out of control, that they will kill him.
Mm-hmm. Promise to kill him.
And she this is also where she finds the Tarkin pup and names him Phase, um, which is I just picture this little pup and I just want to just
Yeah,
snuggle the
super cute.
crap out of that little thing. Um, and then kind of the timeline really picks up in terms of Ransom. Do we call him Ransom at this point?
We learn that his name is Ransom.
Is it here? I forget where
Yeah,
everything
it's
is.
chapter 38. Yeah.
Okay. So we learn that his real name is Ransom. Um
What was your reaction?
to the name.
Yeah.
I honestly was like, why don't I have a strong opinion one way or the other about it? There was part of me that was like, oh, the other part of me I was like, Ransom. Yes, that was my honest reaction. It was very double-sided.
Mine says
I hated
Ransom.
it.
Ransom question mark dumb name.
Okay, well now I'm
I
gonna put
said
the pressure
straight
on
up
you.
dumb.
What would you have named him?
I like Xavier. Like they should have just kept him as Xavier. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I mean, we'll find out later on. I don't know if we should just say it, but yeah.
No, no, we
Okay.
save it. That'll be fun. I don't know if those
Um,
are your chapters or mine.
yeah, it's okay. But Ransom, what the fuck?
I knew you were gonna
Like
hate that.
like it couldn't, I mean, because ransom, I mean, it's a verb. I mean, no, it's a noun. Ransom is a noun. But
Ransom. You could take
there's already
someone.
a connotation to it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
That's a really good question.
It's not a
Is it
name.
a noun also a verb, or is it just a noun? Can
I
it be
think it's just an
used? Yeah, I think
anyways. But
whatever.
there's already a definition to it. So,
I would say that I will say, I'm a little sick and tired of all the names being the same. I am sick and tired
true.
of all of the MMCs having
True.
the same gosh
Yeah.
damn name. I'm
Yeah.
so tired of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh my
Try.
gosh, there's so many hot names in the world. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
That's true.
So I will say that's my feeling. Not every, I will say not every MMC hottie baddie needs to have a name that starts with an X or a
Yeah.
Z.
Yeah.
So I would love to see some people moving into like, yeah, make it continue to make them badass names. I don't want like my hot MMC's name to be Frank, but
Yeah.
I, I do think there are a lot of like hot names out there,
Yeah.
like hot
Yeah.
slash badass slash princely kingly names that
Yeah.
you can have. Like, come
There's
on!
literally a billion names in the world. Like you can't,
But they're
you
all
can,
Kai, they're all Xavier,
can like,
they're,
yeah.
they're all Reese.
Uh, yeah.
I can't. Like,
Anyway.
why is there a monopoly on the hot MMC names? I'm
Yeah.
done with that.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything for those chapters?
The aim that Xavier and the Guardian are trying to do is kill all the monsters. So apparently they've been
Yeah.
going on hunts to try to kill everything. That way Lissa is eradicated. There's also a part in these chapters where where Des sees the Voster like siphoning Lissa out of the Guardian. And so she's like, what is
Yes.
happening? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay, I remember that. Okay.
To study his blood or whatever. And the Guardian is during these times, the Guardian is weaker because
Hmm.
obviously. And so they're also talking about Lissa a little bit. And how they think it's alchemy and not magic, which is kind of an important point, which means alchemy. So it's
Yes.
made like they're chemicals being put together versus magic, which just like appears out of nowhere or whatever.
Yeah.
So the assumption is that someone created it and
Yeah.
is using it for bad. I LOL'd when Des referred to the Guardian's quote unquote perfect ass. And then she says, "Gah, gah," like, oh my God. But and then he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Nothing."
That was literally
So
her way of being like, Hamana.
cute. She's like,
What's
perfect ass.
uh
Can't believe I think his ass is perfect. So funny.
I honestly think you deeply connected with that. You were just like, ugh.
Yeah, damn
Like,
it.
especially for these like book MMCs, like not even for real life, but you for these book, you're just like, gosh, Hamana.
Yeah, if it's a real life one, it would have to be really perfect for me to say something
Emilio
like that.
Zachariah. Emilio Zachariah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's.
But we don't need to go there again. We
Or
already
we
know.
could for fun, but
We
maybe
already
later.
know. We already know. But I think that's it. I think
Okay.
that sums it up.
How are you feeling about the Guardian at this point? Just to like,
I love their banter. Their
yeah.
banter's great. Obviously we're learning more about him. He's not a monster. He's not like it's not magic. His abilities, his natural abilities are
Mm-hmm.
heightened, so he already has these abilities. He takes her along. He interacts so cute with Evie. What's not to like?
Love him.
So we leave off at Rivali. They meet the paper man, Samuel
Mm-hmm.
Hay,
Mm-hmm.
who is and his son, and he's the author of that book about Quentis, where
Yep. Yep. Yep.
he accuses her father of murdering mother. So Odessa's like, "Leave me here. I have to chat with this guy."
Mm-hmm. We're gonna have a
um,
talk.
yeah, and basically the whole thing is that he really needed to make money. And so he embellished this story from a drunk man that he had met
Mm-hmm.
and just really apologetic. Like
Yeah.
didn't really mean anything by it.
Pretty salacious for not meeting
Yeah.
anything about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I doubt he ever thought that he would meet her or him or you know
yeah.
what I mean. So he really just needed to make money. But we find out that the reason why no one talks about Alisaria is because there are blood oaths that have been made to keep it a secret. And
Mm-hmm.
so literally you can't talk about it. Oh, and apparently a lot of the scholars and alchemists live in Alisaria. So the thought is that possibly it could have come from there. We don't know
Mm-hmm.
what the secret is, if it's such a big secret. and all of the alchemists and stuff live there. Like they probably know. So there's that. Where we come face to face with King Ramsay again. Apparently he has beef with the Guardian, and they again start burning books, which means they light Sam's store on fire, the Paperman's
Yeah.
thing on fire. And then Ramsay warns Ransom that he has a month to, I guess, go with him, whatever that means. We don't find that out this time. A lot of conversations. Love this because Odessa's just asking questions and we're finding out everything.
Yeah, finally.
And so we find a story about Ransom killing Banner's brother.
Yeah.
And apparently, which Odessa this whole time is like, he's such a good guy. Like, I don't see how, he doesn't seem to be killing just to kill.
Oh,
He
yeah, yeah,
kills
yeah.
for a reason. And so she finds out that he had killed Banner's brother because he was essentially trafficking little girls. So he's a hero. And then the last thing I see here is that they arrive in Elder and Xavier walks out of a room half naked with
Yeah.
Jocelyn behind
Yeah.
him and then some other dude.
Yeah.
So what? Bro, what?
That was rough.
Bro, what? Okay.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Okay. Yeah. That's literally what it was. I was like, wait, what is? So we're not done with this chapter, but we're starting to like I guess we'll keep going. Chapter 44 is when we find out what actually is going on. Okay, so the real story is Ransom is the prince. And I want to pause there because I literally just watched our last episode. So I want to know what went in your mind, because you had an inkling, or you kept calling it a conspiracy, but clearly.
Yeah, I was like, I'm part of like the deep internet.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
I just have to say, I wish I wasn't somebody who got such joy out of I told you so. But that was like delectable.
Yeah.
That was like, I was like, yeah, Megan.
Yeah.
You're finally like, I've been reading enough over the last like 2 years that I'm like, okay, turn your brain on. Something about that felt fishy. I will say, just like deep satisfaction with myself.
Yeah.
And being like, I'm trying to be braver about putting my theories out there, even if I end up just looking like a tool. And I'm proud of myself for doing it, for putting
genius, man.
For the millions of people watching. I have, that I risked embarrassing myself, but I was like, yeah.
No, it was good. I kind of want to know, like, as it was like unraveling.
Yeah.
How, when you realized it, what that was like for you.
What it was like. I was literally having that moment. I was like, are you about to say it? You're going to say it. You're going to say it. You're going to say it though. It was kind of like that scene in Bridesmaids where she's like, oh, you're going to poop it. You're pooping in the street. You're pooping in this. We're pooping in the street.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, no, we're really doing it. Oh, it's happening. That was my experience. And I felt amazing.
Yeah.
Proud of myself for like a week. I couldn't do anything wrong.
That was incredible.
How did you feel?
I was surprised. I was like, okay, that makes sense. I had to like think back and be like, okay, like what was actually happening in that moment for it to like work, right? Xavier.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember, like, you're talking about the wedding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that it was like, and I had a little question in there somewhere, but that there's like this contract, and the person speaking throughout the entirety of the wedding, because Xavier doesn't talk in front of people, and now we kind of know why, is because we still need it to be in the real prince's voice for it to like be bound to him. And so the whole wedding, the guardian is talking for Xavier, and then there's that contract, and I remember my whole like, conspiracy deep web theory was,
Mm-hmm.
well, they didn't actually take his blood in front of
Yeah.
her. Like,
Yeah.
did they sign it before? And then by him speaking, it was hit and not hers. And he's the like,
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
what? Like, I don't know. I was like, in
Yeah.
what legal agreement can you have someone else say the words for you? And it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, that just didn't make sense to me. So
Yeah.
that's what I remember the unfolding of it was like the blood part, and then there's the actual speaking part. And I was like,
Yeah.
where is it written into the universe that like the Guardian can speak for Xavier, and then it is on Xavier's behalf officially. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think the big thing for me was like, okay, how did they keep this up for so long? Like they must really look alike for this to
Yeah, because
actually
they're
work.
cousins,
They're
right?
cousins. Yes, it's Zayden and Bodhi again.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
all over
That's
again.
what this is. Yeah,
But so they must look very, very similar. I mean, they have to in order for this to work.
yeah. I guess enough that across kingdoms.
Yeah.
Well,
They
I
called
guess
him a
they don't.
double. They called him a double, basically his
That's true.
double.
But I
Yeah.
guess I guess my this might be a dumb question, but um, to what extent do they need to look super alike for
True.
this to
I
be
mean,
believable?
I don't know. I mean, the guards, like, you have an army that you need to lead. Like, who are they gonna follow? You know what I mean?
Well, I
Like,
guess does it end up kind of being that it's only the really small circle that knows this? It's
yes.
literally only
Yes.
like the core team that
Yes.
we know here.
Yeah.
Um, and so I guess what they do is basically Xavier makes the actual orders, but it's just everything is coming straight from the Guardian. The Guardian tells Xavier what he wants done. So they just have that deep inherent trust that it's like everyone else is going to see you as like the voice of this, and then people aren't going to like they don't need to like put extra guards on the Guardian or
Hmm.
anything like they don't need to have extra security personnel that you would need to have for like the president couldn't do this because you'd need to
Hmm.
like guard them like they're the president, and that would make it obvious that that is the president. But the Guardian's the Guardian, so he doesn't really need that like type of protection and attention. He gets to just kind of float. That's how
Yeah.
I saw it, but maybe there's something I'm just like it's just a plot chasm that I'm missing.
Do we want to talk about why he chose her? I feel like, did he talk about this here?
Oh, why he chose Odessa to
Yeah.
be the
Well,
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really remember
I
that
think it
super
shows up a
well.
little bit later, but so one, he was already enamored by her. Apparently, he had watched her when she was about to jump off the
Dive
cliff.
off the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he
So,
saw her red hair. Dude, my
So
theory about the hair is so strong right now. Remember, I was like, why is everyone like sniffing her hair and
yeah,
obsessed with her
yeah,
hair and they're dyeing
yeah.
her hair and like,
Touching
oh
her
my
hair
gosh.
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from then, yes. Also, they knew that her father had been training May to be a spy.
Hmm.
So another reason why he needed a
Yes.
way to get her. And then he talks about wanting to set her free, which is super sweet.
Yeah. Dude, you're
Knowing
so
that she
funny.
was what?
You're so funny.
Knowing that she was basically a prisoner at her in her home, in her
Yeah.
castle, whatever, and that he was probably going to die from this Lissa, and so
Hmm.
she can be free from this contract after he's dead. How romantic.
Dude, you're so into that. It's so cute.
Love it. And then he called, oh, okay, the emphasis on my queen.
Oh,
I put my queen exclamation point. Oh my god, kill me.
okay, so I've learned something. This is a fun little side note. I've learned something about you and I as people and our like inclinations towards I guess being romantic or
Hmm.
accepting something as romantic and
Hmm.
how we differ. You are more of like just the freaking like great wall until someone gets through. Once someone has like gotten through for you, I feel like it's like you're so much more
So
likely to
deep.
take these things that are romantic and just
Hmm.
be like that's so romantic. Whereas I'm kind of the flip where it's like I'm any little thing I'd be like, oh, that was so sweet. And then like once it's through that first part, I was just like, well, what was the point of that? You know, like,
You're
wait,
over
but
it.
like wait, but why? Just buy me a bean and cheese burrito. Why with the flowers? You
Yeah,
know?
that's funny. So yeah, so now we know who's who. Jocelyn ended up being a bitch. Like, I mean, not because she doesn't know that Xavier's not actually her husband.
Yeah,
And so she's been sleeping with him, and so Odessa's pissed, sends her away, that she's tells her to tell her dad
yeah.
that she has failed, but really she's gonna keep at it, keep trying to figure things out, but just kind of letting them know that she doesn't know anything, which is true for as far as Alisaria goes.
Yeah, I thought that was I just have to say I think that was such an interesting dynamic because and there's still so much left to be revealed about other things like going on here. But that was such a unique writing dynamic because it's like, okay, so that's not really her husband, but she thinks it's her husband.
Hmm.
And so she's not dealing with at all with like the, oh, that was like my husband. I'm not hurt that my husband did that.
Hmm.
I'm hurt that you are
Did
just
that.
such a betrayer.
Yeah,
You're
yeah, yeah.
such just an a-hole. And I just can't believe that or fathom that. And also the feelings of like, I felt so bad for you. Like you were
Hmm.
so homesick and I was
Hmm.
and I've always been kind to you. And it's not
Hmm.
like, oh, the princess was nice to like the support staff. It was like, no, I
She
at one
wanted to
point
be
thought we might
friends.
be friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought that was such a cool. I had to remind myself in moments like, wait, Xavier's not her husband. Wait, Xavier's not her
Hmm.
husband. Wait, Xavier.
Hmm.
So I just thought that was cool. I enjoyed that. Again,
Yeah.
I feel like this is another book that we picked where the author's just doing something a little bit different that
Hmm.
makes these things that do fall under the typical tropes just feel different and more enjoyable. So 46. Help me out here, but I wanted to jump ahead to just like a moment that happened. But this chapter kind of goes through a little bit more of like the agree like how their kind of promises are like bound to each other, and how they what they're enforced by, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like this is where there's the discussion about what the contract the Shield of Sparrows actually does and means. There's the part where it says like a king cannot kill his sparrow and a sparrow cannot kill her king, either directly or indirectly without death befalling them both.
Hmm.
So, quick little question I had on that we can do now or come back to. It was like, so did the dad not know? So the dad didn't know that he was actually the prince who wanted her to kill the guardian, but now the guardian's her husband. So that's the contract. So now she's like freed. Okay, I answered my question. That was obvious. Like that was such a cool moment that I was like, okay, you're like absolved of needing to do
Hmm.
this because your dad asked you, which was
Hmm.
like kind of a little bit of a cop out, just a little bit, but it was like, okay, good to know. Glad you got
Yeah.
an extra excuse out of this, honey. And then they're kind of in this like back and forth where he's like, I told you that you're mine, and they kind of get back into that argument about like I did this so that you could be free kind of conversation. I don't know. Help me out here.
Yeah, yeah. And she's mad at him, right?
Yeah,
Because obviously she started getting feelings for him, and now, yeah, you're telling me I'm gonna be free, but that's because you die. Like,
yeah,
how could
yeah,
you want that for me, where I'm gonna be just mourning you for the rest of my life? And then he calls her mine.
yeah. I will
Yeah.
say there's as much as I think it was sweet that he was trying to do what he was doing with like the I saw this away as a way to set you free. I was like, I see some like major issues with that plan. Like, so wait, so wait. There are a lot of moments of that for me, but love the sentiment at the very least. And then they make out.
Yeah, they kiss for the first time. Xavier's name
Yeah.
is actually Dre.
I
Yeah.
actually totally forgot that. What do you think about the name
Yeah.
Dre?
I hate it. Are you kidding? And
Okay,
then
do you
and
like
then
the FMC's name?
his name is actually Xavier Ransom Wolf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do I like Odessa? It's grown on me. It suits
Like
her.
what names in the book do you like? Long pause.
Phase. I think Evie suits her. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Cool. Got it. Okay, so then so this chapter, she Odessa admits that she's trying to make a map of the kingdom. She does it to Samuel.
Yes.
So this is basically where she's just having more of a conversation, and he's like, well, I can't help you do that, that's illegal, blah blah blah. And she's like, well, I have no intention of getting caught. And they're kind of referring to what they have available, and she starts like asking where a certain road leads. He's like obviously getting very nervous because he's like, I don't even feel like I can answer your questions. Like, what else is in this chapter? Oh, she has a conversation um with Ransom about the Foster siphoning the blood from him, and essentially the point of that really being that he needs to have it not take over his body. So by taking some out, they can, like you said, study it, but they can also relieve him of it a little bit.
And she keeps talking about a cure also. Like, we'll find a cure, da 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 da. And he's like, there is no cure. They've
Yeah.
tried. So he's very much set on this is how it is. Gonna die.
Okay, let's like pause there real quick. What were your feelings around that way of thinking, I guess?
Nothing crazy. I mean, it's been decades. Fosters have tried. They've all obviously tried. And so I think he's just realistic at this point.
I think I will say that I was trying to imagine myself in her shoes, and I guess my simplified thought is, yeah, it kind of boils down to like that all sucks. 'Cause it's like, cool, Ransom, I love all your thinking. Thanks for like figuring out my life for me. But now you're also telling me how to think and feel about it. It's like, first of all, you made a huge decision before you even knew me, about me, how my life would go. And then not only that, but now you're telling me that I can't hope that you'll be okay. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things to me that kind of loops around a little bit. It's like, are you being sweet, or are you like stepping on me and what I could possibly want? I don't know. Does that make sense or add up to you at all?
It does. It's just such a typical trope.
Yeah.
Don't waste hope. Like, let's be realistic about this and
Yeah.
accept it. I mean, it makes her seem like the naive, bright-eyed person that I feel like I mean, that's pretty common. People with cancer, like, let's not hope. Let's just
Yeah.
enjoy our time. Like, you know what I mean? So, kind of
Yeah.
typical in my eyes.
Yeah. Okay. Those are just my feelings about it, but but I do think this was actually a kind of eventful chapter, because she asks him if Evie's actually his daughter,
Mhm.
and he's like, she's not my daughter, she's my sister. Um
Mhm.
and then they get into the
Yeah.
conversation about why, and because, well, a very short one, it's like, because my dad tried to kill my mom.
Mhm.
um, I think this was the next chapters where, yeah, they go into just more of that conversation where he
Yeah.
explains that his mom was actually in love with someone else, and that his father really did love his mother, but
Mhm.
that the running story is that the dad came home and found her with the other guy. I forget who he is. He was like a general or something like that, someone kind of
Mhm.
close to the family, and that he tried to like as he was strangling her, Ransom stepped in. And, so that, and he at this point doesn't reveal who his mother is, but he does confirm that Evie is his sister, which is so cute. It's like, oh, Mikael is the name
Oh
of
yeah.
the, and so that might explain blue starbursts in Evie's eyes, because he was from Ozarth, which apparently requires blue starbursts. I need to go back to my original original crazy list of eye
Mm.
colors and what they mean and where they come from. Um, and was there anything else really? She just had the questions about like, well, where is she now? and that the dad, the king, is still very angry and essentially ready to just hunt her down and kill her likely, and that's where the plan was set out, that Xavier would be the father. And then at one point she defends her father. He says, I'm loyal to my people. Doesn't matter who they believe I am, a prince or a guardian. I strive to keep them safe from the monsters with claws and the monsters with crowns. And then she says, like your father. And he says, and yours. And then she says, my father's not a monster. I guess I'm curious at this point. Do you feel, well, and the last part in that, before I ask that, is that Ransom says, I think your father has found a way to break the shield of sparrows. And then he says, by killing the Voster and the Brotherhood and end their magic. So at this point, what do you feel about her dad?
To be quite honest, I don't know. I don't care. He obviously wants to know Alisaria. They have these like different theories that he wants to find out where they are so they can bring his people there, whatever, to hide, or you know what I mean? Like it's kind of still really up in the air. Like I really don't know.
In 49, they kind of, Ransom goes into his theory, which is essentially that he thinks they have like a geographic advantage and they just have to be basically the last kingdom standing, that he's got a navy and like his borders allow for him to be situated nicely to come out on top, and he doesn't really know what his plans are for killing the Voster, and like they're kind of speculating as to who the Voster would stand behind, and it would likely be behind the Turns, specifically behind Ransom, because they've got that good relationship already. At this point, she calls him husband. I feel like that was the first time. And she surmises from what he says that the Voster live in Alisaria, and that's probably why they're being so highly protected. And then she kind of asks about, like, what about people, like, there's this theme that comes out where, again, like you said, she's kind of this bright-eyed, optimistic girl, but kind of goes into the how is she with the logistics of this, like this is war and this is like people being in carnage from these big beasts and creatures. And she's like, why won't you send more people to protect them? They're like, who? And have you seen them? Like, what are you, how am I supposed to protect this tiny village? You only have so many people. And like, look at, like, what would your suggestion be? And like, why don't they come into the cities? And she's attributing all of these like things that she sees as like not being kind to Tura, and like slowly figuring out, it's like, if you choose to live in the land, like that's a choice that you're making, and that those same things happen back home for her. So they're really no different. I don't know. She's just like making her own theories in 49 a lot. And then this is where another attack happens. And this one is the Barrow wolves are back. So this is like, what now? This is like the third or fourth. I don't know. I feel like a lot's happening in these chapters and I just need to shut up. But this is like the third or fourth attack. And like there's without describing all of things, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a teenage girl who's hiding behind a spike that's like right in the middle of everything. And so she's like trying to pull her inside. And then she also darts out to help this little boy whose mom was just ripped apart. She runs out to help him, and Ransom's trying to tell her not to. She sees the one-eyed Barrow wolf. Then she doesn't get there in time. Like, this book is brutal. 3 massive strides, and it ripped that child's head from its body, tossing it to the side. Like, this book took no prisoners whatsoever.
No mercy.
And then it goes to hunt her down, and like the priest actually helps out. A cold blast of icy wind blew from the hair my face as the priest lifted his arms, and the flick of the wrist, an ice shard launched from above the head over mine, crashing into the monster on my tail. Yeah. And Ransom's fighting all of them. It's crazy. And then Ransom goes to chase it down.
Yeah. Specifically because it was the one-eyed one that infected him. So
yes.
Yeah.
I'm finally done. I'm done for now.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Bring up something that if we don't bring it up, we won't. And I've been dying to say this because it comes up in a lot of fantasy books.
Yeah.
Are women liking the idea of men's tongue darting around in their mouths?
What do you mean?
There's literally, this is like probably the 5th fantasy book I've seen this in when people are making out on a page. It's not showing me which page.
Yeah.
On it's 78% into the book, and I quote, "He kissed the tip of my nose. He nipped at my bottom lip. Then he sealed his mouth over mine, his tongue darting out for a taste."
I
Uh,
mean,
uh.
yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
I'm so haven't you is this terminology that rings a bell in your mind in books that like at least talk about people making out?
I don't recall, but sure,
I
I
take real
guess.
issue with the word darting. No tongue
Yeah,
should be darting.
that's pretty gross for
It's
sure.
disgusting. The way that it's described is like their mouths just went like this, and then this like tentacle came out, went.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's awful. I
yeah.
literally, after I read that, I was like, I'm out. I'm done. Out. Nope. Not doing it. That's my side note. 50.
50. So, hunting party returns to no avail regarding the werewolves, at least. Sam finishes the map, brings it to Odessa. She hides it. In this one, we learn that Tilia is preggers. Super
Yeah.
cute. We also see that Odessa has an interaction with the high priest, and basically touches her and screams in pain. Is it burning? I think can't remember if it was like burning or whatever, but in a whole lot of pain. He lets her go after Ransom comes, and then High Priest asks about her mother, and then Evie is gone, missing somewhere. So that's interesting. More questions versus answers, but we will find out. So that's 50. I don't take very good notes these last few chapters. Um,
We were super into this. We've got
yeah,
a plan for the future. These will be
appa-
better.
apparently Odessa is the only person that can actually feel Voster magic.
Yes.
So that's interesting. What about Odessa makes her special? Because I mean, throughout the book, she talks about how uncomfortable she is when a Voster's around, like senses their
Yeah.
magic, all these things, and apparently no one else can. So that is an asterisk as far as who is she, and why did they want to know about her mother? What does her mother have to do with anything? Stupid. Chapter 52.
What did
My
you write that you're
my
commenting on?
my only summary is that was hot. So I assume they had sex in this chapter. 53. Ransom and Xavier go on a hunt because people have spotted the bear wolves again. There's a man that tries to kill Odessa, and he
Yes.
has dark green blood. He's like someone from one of the other cities that they brought over because he was ill or something. Yeah, apparently just goes after Odessa. Talks about burning and his king telling him to kill her or something like that.
Yeah.
So again, just a bunch of questions. We don't know who this guy is. But he has dark green blood. Like, and she kills him. Odessa kills him.
Yeah.
First life she's ever taken.
First kill. Yeah.
That's that chapter. Next chapter, 54. We find out that Luella is Mother Dear to Ransom and Evie. Ransom killed Xavier's stepfather. The stepfather tried to kill Xavier try to kill Ransom because he wanted Xavier to be king or something, so,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
to
Yes.
succeed
Yeah. He saw the
the throne, whatever.
opportunity. He was like,
Yeah,
some people think he's the king, so let's go for this. Yeah.
yeah. So try to
Or
get
the
rid of
prince.
Ransom. He kills him instead. That was kind of it. Des is super, super devastated about the guy that she killed. But that's that. Okay, 55. Des is putting some things together. She's figuring some things out.
Yeah, I'm gonna need your help here because I don't know that I put all these pieces together.
Kathleen continues to give Odessa books. So we find out that
Mm-hmm.
Kathleen's really trying to feed her information and
Yeah.
please put it together. So Luella obviously knows everything or Luella, we figure out, is the one that knows what's going on because she has a book that talks about cave ginger or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
And Luella.
Yeah. Native to Ozark, harvested in bogs, outer skin, blah blah blah. When boiled, can be used as pigment. When ingested, good for healing. They shed their hides in bogs, possibly absorbed into peel. Testing extensive.
So we figure out, well, so they know that this man had Lissa. They think that Lissa affects humans differently than it does beasts, so
Mm-hmm.
monsters. They still don't know why he came after Odessa, but he had no bite scar, so he was not bitten.
Mm-hmm.
He did have marks and tracks on his arm,
Yeah.
meaning he was injected. So, again, putting things together. Whoever created Lissa isn't only trying to infect monsters,
Mm-hmm.
they are obviously infecting people. They're trying to give it to others to recreate the Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Create an army
So,
of guardians.
yes. So, this is where they put together that they think Ramsey is doing it, and that's why the soldiers are disappearing. They're going to training and they're not coming back. The man that she had killed is from Alisaria. So, again, a connection there. It all goes back to that city. I think that's it for this chapter in particular as far as what was uncovered. So Odessa has to ask all these questions because they all took a blood oath about this. And so
Yeah.
she's literally just trying to piece it together and asking the right questions. And they find out that Luella knows everything because she comes in with berries, a pack of berries that is the same color as Lissa. So she's
Yeah.
literally she made it. And so they're wondering, is she working with Ramsey? What is going on? What is happening? Why is she involved? And it kind of ends there.
So then so 56. So this is where they just get deep into the conversation about this, and it's like basically they ask like, what did you do? And they confirm she created it, and I think this is the chapter where we find out how he got it.
Yeah.
So he actually didn't get it from the bite. He got it from when he was it when he was injured from when he was pulling his dad off his mom? Or was it just that he was like injured and he was really weak and she was like, this is my moment or he might die?
Yeah, it was no, he was training and he got like a cut or something.
Yeah. And it was
Um
really bad.
yeah, he had lost a lot of blood.
And so she was stuck with like, I could risk not giving it to you and you not be okay, or I could give this to you and hope it works.
Because they were making these potions to try to make people stronger. Like that was
Right.
the whole point. Yeah, they were trying to stop infection or all that stuff. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like they were trying to make a medicine.
But also at this point, did we like our understanding at this point was his dad the king supporting this, or was she was doing this in secret, was she not?
I think she was doing this in secret
That was my impression.
because this was a hobby of hers that
Yes. Yeah.
the king didn't care about, or she was literally just working with the alchemists.
Yeah, I remember she like spent her time away, like meeting with basically like alchemists and like like magical people. But we do find out it's confirmed that she's like, it's magical and I'm not, but Calandra has magic. And then she says, just look at the different eyes in these rooms. She thinks that the monsters are kind of part of the magic, and so that's what the idea came to, like pull it from them.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, that whole explanation was interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's not just this chemistry potion elixir that they made, because
Yeah.
that is all that's not magic. That's science. But monsters are magic because
Yeah.
they are these things. They're powerful, all these things. And so they needed both in order for it to actually work. And they
Yeah.
couldn't figure that out until Ransom got bit, and that's when
Yeah.
it like figured it. So that was
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
you're
made
right. It was almost like that was that's what allowed it to turn into something magical, was the bite. Before that, it was more,
it was dead. Like
what's
it
the word I'm
didn't
looking
do.
for?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dormant is the word
Yeah.
I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And then the bite is what woke it up. And so then that's why it's not working in the way
mm-hmm,
that other people are trying to use it, because they're thinking you can just inject people
mm-hmm.
with it. but if you do, it's for whatever reason not working. But I don't remember exactly why it is that it was okay for him to just be like injected with this, but the why it's not working with other people now, and they're basically just like going mad with Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah, she goes through the specifics of like her process and how she learned about these things. They keep bringing up this Sonnets 90 story about the guy who just
Mm-hmm.
has the monsters who just like go over his head, and he's like protected from the crux and all that. So that's like the third time that's been brought up. I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
if you have any theories about that in this point in time.
No, but I did, yeah, I did notice that they brought it up again. I'm sure
Um,
it'll pop up in future books, probably.
and it talks about, it just kind of goes more into the details of like, in order to kill certain creatures that all of this is imbued with, like you have to specific, like they're so durable, you have to cut off their heads, and you have to use different pieces of different monsters for the elixir, and that this is essentially exists because it's a bond between man and monster and magic. It's like the combination between
Mm-hmm.
those three that makes this work in the Guardian, but it also still doesn't work because it's like killing him. And so this is where he kind of has the realization that he's not the bear wolf didn't start the Lysa, that it was him.
Yeah.
Not his choice, but that he was like the impetus for all that. And this is where he gets mad at his mom.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's
what did you
pissed.
did? And they're like really pissed at her, and they're trying to see like they're talking about whether or not his dad can reproduce it with his militia. It's like no, he's definitely trying. In the process, he's killing them, and that would make sense. The guy that came to try to kill Odessa. I still don't know why they
Mm-hmm.
tried to kill Odessa specifically. That piece, I don't think we know even by the end of the book,
Yeah.
for sure. But he hasn't made the connection that the it's the elixir and then the bite that's what
Mm-hmm.
helps. She's like hoping he doesn't learn that. That was the missing piece. But she kind of talks about how so much of this is documented in her own books and the books that she's read. And so that's the power. And so she's now, Odessa's wondering if that's why her father, what her father wanted, if he's trying to use that for his own army, trying to adopt that. Just lots of theorizing there. And then she's like, no, wait, that doesn't really make sense. He just needed to get in the doors of Alisaria, and that May was the way that he was going to do that. So that's why they trained May. They thought she'd be better at that. And then he's just like, yep, there's no cure to this. The Voster haven't figured it out. And then she sees the book that
Mm-hmm.
Luella has, and it has the emblem that's on the pendant that we
Mm-hmm.
talked about at the very beginning of the book that she found in the floorboards. So there's that. Where Ransom runs off, he handles it like an emotionally stable king that he is. He, and I'm being kind of, yeah, he ran away, but he, like, once he's ready to talk, he, like, does it well. She's like kind of thinking about like that symbol on the book as she's looking for him and just all the stuff, and she's like, what does that mean? And then she catches up with them. She's like, I've been looking for you. They're chilling with Faze, having a conversation about all the stuff they just found out about his mom. She just starts to ask questions. She says, will you like take me to Alisaria? He says, I will not take you to Alisaria. And then
Mm-hmm.
she's picking up on these blood oaths. She's like, he didn't say cannot. He says will not. And then she says, you still don't trust me. And then there's the like, if the men in my father's army are like the man who tried to kill you here, Alisaria is the last place in Calandra you should go. So it's not about trust. It's actually that he's like, it's
Safety.
not safe for you. Then she decides to share her truths. And she's like, my father sent me here to find the passage to Alisaria. I'm a spy. I was supposed to send Brielle or Jocelyn back. Your father's, desire to burn books. It must be related to Lysa. If I had the chance, I was supposed to kill you. He's like, you're a horrible spy. She's like, yes, I am. And then, more blood oaths. So she starts to ask him, can you go to Alisaria? He's like, yes, I can go. And then she starts to ask, like, would the soldiers and elder fight against your father if they needed to? He says, I cannot ask them. It's like, he emphasizes cannot. So he can't order anyone against the king because of the king's paranoia of someone overthrowing him. And then she just reinforces, you're not dying. I'm not cool with that. There has to be another way to do this. And he's like, I don't have an army for this fight. And then she's like, no, he didn't, but my father does. Then in 59, he's gonna leave for Alisaria. She's trying to think through, like, would my father see the reason? I think she's even wondering, like, is my dad even a good guy? Like, I think he is. I'm gonna lean on that. She's hanging out with Evie and she's like, do you want to see something? Takes her to like a quote unquote secret space and ends up being a migration cellar. She takes her to the place where Luella was keeping all of her books. She ends up being like, well, I can't take, like, she kind of wants to take them. She knows they're valuable, doesn't really know exactly what to do with them. She decides to keep them there, right?
Yeah, she leaves them.
Then Ransom tells her that he's going to take his mom to Alisaria, saying it's time, it was her idea, blah, blah, blah. And then stuff erupts at the end of that. So I'm going to let you pick up there.
Yeah, well, the army shows up. Ramsey and his army shows up. And Banner. Banner is there. Crazy.
Sup, Banner? What you doing?
What the hell?
Like, Brother Dime is there, the Voster. Why was he with King Ramsey? The king walks through. Everyone drops to bow except Ransom and her.
Jocelyn's back also.
Yeah, Jocelyn's like, hey, like, you guys suck. Banner, your brother's the freaking pedophile. And and Jocelyn, you're a betrayer. And then
they're collecting soldiers to come to Alisaria. They needed troops in Alisaria because a crooks was spotted.
And they're like, oh my gosh, wait, what? This is so early.
It's happening. Banner is there for his fiance, who is Jocelyn.
This bitch.
Great.
And that's like always been the case, I guess. Like since, I mean, okay, so I do think that's a helpful thing to clarify.
Wait.
Obviously, Odessa was with Banner until she left, but Jocelyn and he had been like bumping uglies.
Wait. Is Jocelyn the fiance or is Brielle the fiance? Jocelyn's a spy.
So really, for me, Luella and Kathleen are the same, and Jocelyn and Brielle are the same.
I know. Wait, hold on. There is a difference. The fiance
is Jocelyn.
Okay, the fiance is Jocelyn, and Brielle is a spy.
So they both suck.
They both suck. There's so much that happens here. I'm overwhelmed. I wish I took better notes.
So he wants to. They're saying that Banner's going to take his fiance back to Quentis, and then that's when there's the whole like, "Oh, I'm not here for you." It's I'm here for Jocelyn. Oh wait, no, you're right. It's not Jocelyn.
Is it Brielle?
Banner and Brielle. Yeah.
Okay.
So Jocelyn, hold on. To go back just a little bit, Jocelyn was the one who was boinking Xavier, right?
Yes.
But then Brielle was the one who was in love with Banner back home. So Jocelyn's just the like spy / and then Brielle's the one who was secretly boinking uglies with Banner when he would go and go away. Okay, got it. We're there. We did it.
Yes.
Then there's just like the whole thing. Like the mom steps forward. And there's the whole, like, I'm here to take my soldiers and you all are going to do what I tell you to do. Yeah, he's like clearly like, no, I'm taking my wife or killing her right here. Who do you think you are, Sparrow, the future queen of Tura? Let me go now. She knees the king in
the groin.
In the dick.
She's so funny.
Then bent forward with an oof. Then the crux flow in. That's really it. That's like.
Yeah, that's when shit really hits the fan. God, okay.
We're almost there. 3 chapters. We got this.
So the crux is, it sounds like it's a giant bird. Giant talons, nailing people, cutting them in half. We start with Jocelyn basically getting pecked to death or something like that.
Yeah.
She's the first to go.
Yeah. Bye.
She said, my former lady's maid was gouged in 2. Brutal. Soldier's body flew past my face. The hole the size of a monster's talon. So much going on. She needs to go get Evie. So she goes to her. She spots Talia. She's coated in blood, and Halston is there also. They run towards a monster. She sees the monster basically try to get her with a wing, a spiked wing, try to get Talia with a spiked wing. Talia is able to avoid it with a tuck and roll, but Halston misses it, and it looks like his leg gets cut off,
It's bad.
or blood spurting from the wound as his limb landed on the dirt. I think it took off his leg. So
Yeah.
Halston's without a leg.
Yeah.
Talia's fine. Luella is helping a wounded soldier. Ransom's trying to get her.
And then she
Doesn't
goes and gets, I mean, it's just like her with Evie after that.
the mother, I mean, Luella's gone. With a single beat of her wings, the crux leapt from one side of the courtyard to the other, and with a snap of her beak, she cleaved Luella's body in two.
Bye bye.
Horrible, brutal, brutal, brutal. Like, is this actually happening? Because it's left and right, it's
Yeah.
nonstop. She's with Evie, Des is with Evie and FaZe. She's scared, they're scared. They go back to Luella's suite, back into the room, right? The hidden room.
Yes, back
Um,
into like where she took her for like the, hey, you want to see something cool?
yeah, and she puts the books in her satchel. They go to the dungeons. Oh, and Banner. Banner
Hmm.
emerges. Brielle's hiding. He basically wants to kill her in order to get back at the Guardian, right? To get vengeance
Yeah.
against for his brother. So
Yeah.
he is going to hurt the Guardian by killing Des.
I have a quick thought on that. I
Yeah,
honestly, for a second, was confused because it said to kill the person that the Guardian loves the most. And I'll be like, honestly, in that scenario, I would think it would be Evie. So for a second, I was like, wait, is Banner gonna
he's gonna
kill
kill Evie.
Evie? I literally had a moment. I was like, oh no, don't you dare kill a child in
Yeah,
this. I will end you.
that
Um,
would have been
I think that
brutal.
would have been worse, and it was
Oh, for
Odessa. Like
sure.
that also would have made that scene so much harder because it wouldn't just,
Yeah,
I don't know, like without going into all that, because I'll let you keep going. But
yeah,
that to me was like, I don't know, in a way, like could have been a really cool alternate universe option. Because I think he
sure.
would have known that Evie was the daughter because Banner has been looking for Luella. And does Banner, wait, not Banner, sorry, the king has been looking for Luella.
Mm-hmm.
Has he also been looking for his daughter?
He doesn't know about
No, he
Evie.
hasn't. That's right, because she was
He doesn't
pregnant when
know.
she ran away. Got it. Okay, so never mind. So
Yeah,
that
he
would have been
wouldn't
a cool
know.
thing if he knew, but he
Yeah,
doesn't.
he
So
doesn't
that's
know.
moot. Okay.
Yeah, two more chapters left. Des fights Banner, and she kills him. Banner first attacks Xavier.
Yeah, because Xavier jumps into the picture to save his quote unquote daughter.
That's right. So Xavier,
Gets clipped for sure.
yeah, he gets stabbed.
Evie's like distraught,
Hmm.
just screaming, Papa, I was so sad. She's like, I need a healer or magic because she thinks Xavier might have a tiny, tiny chance. She blows out a whistle, the signal that things are not okay.
Oh yeah,
And
that she learned. Was it Trio?
yeah, I
Where
think it
was
was
it?
in
Yeah.
Trio she learned that that was like their distress signal.
Hmm.
I think for like when monsters were coming or something. Yeah, she's wondering where Ransom is. Oh, she's like searching for the crux in the sky because she comes out and is again trying to look around for Ransom, and then she runs into a man and his wife was at his side, and the crux just came down, and another couple separated by
Dead.
death. Evie's witnessing all of this. The crux flies the opposite direction, and then she caught a glimpse of Ransom. Brielle, she
She's just
literally,
she's literally just there. She's like in
yeah.
distress.
So I actually saw after I read this, I'm not gonna say what the theory was, but there was someone on Book Talk who had a pretty cool theory
Oh,
about this moment
okay.
because she literally just like she almost chooses it. Like
Yeah.
she's just like mount. Um, but she basically gives her like drops the knives and then the monster carries her off. So
Mm.
we don't see her die. but we do see the monster carried her off. And then they start running, and then they meet up
Mm-hmm.
with Ransom, and then that's when he
Mm-hmm.
gives her the cuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And they never outwardly said it, but she believes that this is the map to Alisaria. And
Yes.
he implies, he's like, you know what this is, right?
Yeah. Um,
So,
so he's not
mm-hmm.
telling her how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot take her.
Mm-hmm.
But I can show her. This is where he's saying, like, it's like that tough moment where he's like, it's not safe for you here because their
Yeah,
theory is that the monsters are drawn to her. So it's
right.
not safe for her in Tura, but Quintus was always better at hiding than fighting, and so all we could do is run and hide. So he's saying like do what you need to do to take care of Evie. If you need to like take her wherever you need to
There, yeah.
take her with you.
He says, I love you, Evie. Stay with Odessa. And she says, I love you. So he doesn't actually tell her, I love you. Did you notice that? I didn't.
Odessa?
He doesn't tell Odessa that he loves her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's funny because a couple of chapters ago, where it's like, oh, when Banner is going at her, she says something like he's going to go after the person that he loves most to get
Mm,
revenge. I literally had a note that I was going to bring up as we were talking that said like, when did
mm,
he say I love you?
yeah.
I mean, maybe
Hasn't
it's just
yet.
that she just knows, obviously, but I do think it's
Sure.
interesting that we were kind of like robbed of that moment. I don't think we ever got that. And then Ransom gets picked up in the Crux's talons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she says he'll be okay. I don't know if she really believes that, but she's talking to Evie because Evie's freaked out by that. And then they run into Brother Dime. And then that's when he's like, you must come with me. And she ends up just being like, and she's like, does this have to do with my mom? But she decides to go with him because she's like, well, Ransom trusted you. And I
Yeah.
don't have a lot of options right now, so I'm going to trust you.
Yeah.
And then 63 is all Ransom's point of view.
So Xavier's still fighting for his life, so he's not dead. Thank
Mm-hmm.
God. Halston's gonna live. Ransom essentially killed the Crux. And this is where it gets confusing, and obviously we're not gonna have answers, but
Yeah.
I was confused. So the Crux, after he had killed it, turned into a woman with red hair, like Odessa's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So her mom, maybe, possibly? What, like,
Or at
some
least
relation?
her people, likely.
Mm-hmm. Ah, ah, makes sense.
I think
Uh,
there's that like speculation of whether it's the mom, but at the very least, there is a connect. She has a connection
same
to these
here.
Crux. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that was written
Mm.
really interestingly. It was very just like, hold on, wait,
Right.
what?
He pulled a sword from a woman's body when he killed the
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have that moment where you read
yeah.
back for a second. You're like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yes, a woman with red hair, the spiraling curls, a mix of orange and strawberry and copper, Odessa's hair. And then Kathleen says, where are you going? And he says, to find my wife. So,
Done.
one of my main questions at the end of it was like, how long have they been separated that he's like, why did they make this big plan to separate? He's like, take her, but then like, you know, I don't know, an hour or two later when this battle is over, he's like, I'm gonna go find my wife. Like,
Well, we don't know if it's an hour or two later. It could be days. It sounds like Xavier was still like after a while is still fighting for his
yeah,
life, right? So,
but like, I don't think he was fighting 4 days. I would have thought like,
mm,
I don't know. It seems like the way that that was framed, it was like they were separated for many days and like many days or at least weeks. So I thought that was interesting because I totally would have. I don't know. I just feel like books sometimes end, like I think of like Pirates of the Caribbean, where like that movie ends and it's like, well, he's stuck on the ship with all of like the, evil pirates with the like black mark or whatever. And then she's like stuck in England. It's
hmm.
like there's a big distance and a big separation. This is like 17 minutes later. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go find my wife.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
I need to be more along for the ride. But okay, what were your thoughts, impressions at that moment?
I mean, I liked how it ended. I think obviously we learned about a lot of things like this, you know what I mean? I feel like it ended at a good place, right? We had this first like taste of what the crux is, and so
Yeah.
now like how much fucking crazier can it get? Like that was
Yeah.
brutal, and that was like was that one crux? Like I think it was
I
there
think it
wasn't
was
a
one.
yeah, there weren't
Yeah.
yeah. And so I'm excited. I feel like there's gonna be a bunch of new players that are gonna come in the next book. It wrapped up some of the things that we were wondering, but still
Hmm.
also so yeah, I mean, what's left to what is left that we need to really know from the at least from this book? One
Yeah.
is the pendant. Like what does that have to do with any of it? The
Mm.
hair, how is all that related?
I don't know. I think it'd be really fun for us to just do like a shortened episode where we just go through our predictions for book two. Because that's
Mm,
not like, because I do feel like there's a lot of, there's like, like, what are the Voster really wanting? Who are they really associated with? Like, what really happened with Odessa's mom? Is she alive? Is it just her people? Like,
yeah.
what is Odessa's connection to the Crux? There's some connection there. What will happen to Evie? Like, is the migration going to be full fledged when we come back in that book, or is it going to be building? Or like, I
Yeah.
just feel like there's a lot left. Like you said, the
Yeah.
pendant. They could seem like separate questions too, when really they're all kind of tied up in the same
Sure.
thing. But no,
No, well, I was just gonna finally just say, like, I felt pretty satisfied with
yeah,
what we did have answered and
yeah,
kind of how it closed out, like the banner, like that thing.
yeah,
Luella. I'm sure there's a lot of things that we have yet to find out about Luella, but you know what I mean? Like that, her death is obviously gonna be like a major part of the next book. So yeah, I liked how it wrapped up a lot of things, but also left a lot of things open for the next one.
I agree. I think there's books you end where you're like just satisfied with where it was left off. But I
Yeah.
think I agree. She did a good job of giving us just enough to
Hmm.
feel satisfied and also leave enough open for us to be really excited for book two. I feel like I need to ask at the end of this book, where does the Guardian rank on your list?
I know. I've been trying to figure that out. So it's not fair because there's only one book of The Guardian, and I feel like there's so much
Yeah.
more, so much more.
It's okay if he's far down the list, right?
He's
Like,
he's still below Zayden Resand, Quicksilver, I mean Kingfisher and Kai, so maybe like six,
it's
seven?
like probably sixth or seventh place. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that actually makes sense to me, just considering that he's not a highly like they don't focus a lot on his like features or like
Mm-hmm.
his like physique or like
Yeah, he's not
for him to
Shadow
be that
Daddy.
high on the list, like I think is impressive considering they really just focused on who he is as a person and kind of his skills and abilities.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't really talk about like their interactions that they had
Hmm.
together, and I thought they were really sweet, like when they were like holding hands and how she doesn't like to hold
Yeah.
hands, but he made her hold. It's like all
Yeah.
those little things that, and there are notes in here where I'm like super giddy right now about like
Yeah.
what they're talking about and their like interactions. So yeah, no, I kind of loved their story and yeah, their dynamic, the way he treats Evie, like. I don't see a lot
Hmm.
of these guys interacting with children, so
Yeah. The word I would use to describe him is gallant.
hmm, what
I
is
feel
that?
like he meets that very like cross between, because just he's obviously like a very skilled fighter and like he's just kind of he reminds me of like that knight in shining armor a little bit with like removed from all of the like hoity-toityness of like being inside a castle and just like ordering,
Mm-hmm.
he's like the man on the he's like the Aragorn of this book in
Mm,
my opinion. He's
mm-hmm.
like a true king. He's a
Mm-hmm.
true do-gooder, do the right
Yeah.
thing even if
Yeah.
you're the bad guy and even if people hate you, fear you,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but everything he does is motivated by something good.
Different from what's his face? from Metal Slinger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was a little bit more like accessible. He felt like a guy I like knew, not actually, but like somebody you could
Yeah.
know. Whereas this guy feels like a little bit more like out there, but
Mm-hmm.
still kind of real. He also feels older to me. Like I think I,
Mm,
even though I don't think he's very old, I forget how old he actually is. He feels like he's more late 20s to me,
mm-hmm.
even though I don't know if that's the case. He just
Yeah.
seems more mature
Yeah.
to me. And then you've got like Resand and all them who've got like millennia of of
Right. Right.
experience and time, and you're like, yeah, you're we get it. You've got like a million years of wisdom to pull from. So of course that's gonna lead to you being wise
Right.
and cute. I like him for that. Like he's just kind of like very gallant and kingly and
Yeah.
does the right thing and
And they're funny. He's funny,
well, like
sarcastic.
he's a little sassy,
Yeah.
sarcastic guy. I think
Yeah.
that's really fun. Well, any other final thoughts on this book?
The only thing I want to say is like comparing this book to Silver Elite, like
I
unfair.
was, yeah,
I Silver the when I read this book, I'm like, okay, this is like the AI rumors about Silver Elite are true, right?
yeah,
Or feel true because
feels true, yeah,
that book, yeah, it had all the tropes or whatever, it had everything, but it was very to the T, like what you
yeah,
expected versus this one, characters, dialogue, like all of that was it felt really like different and
yeah,
enjoyable. So I can definitely see like where the hate comes from with Silver Elite because I didn't
yeah.
get that same emotion from this one.
I mean, I'm really glad you brought that up because I was thinking about that because these came out like what on the same
Same.
day, and
Yeah,
I
or
chose
very
Silver
close.
Elite. I don't remember why,
Mm-hmm.
and I after I finished this book, I was like, just and you said you can't compare them. I'm absolutely going to compare them. I I think
Yeah.
that Silver Elite is I'm just going to be frank about it. Just compared to this,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah, I
that was
definitely see that
so
now.
unimpressive. Like
Hmm.
that's ugh.
Honestly,
I
though, I'm glad we read that first before this one.
yeah.
Because
Oh,
the
it'd be
other way
such a
around would have
letdown.
been,
No, you're right, but I was really not at all impressed with Silver.
Yeah.
It was like enjoyable at moments, but that was it.
Yeah.
Um, this was like, oh, there's actually like there's things to pull on, and there's lots of storyline
Hmm.
and lots of character development and things we didn't
Hmm.
know and secrets and twists and that was just very like wet fart, honestly,
Hmm.
a little bit for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, yeah, the AI, like, that could have been generated by AI, if anything.
If you're like super into just tried and true tropes and you just want to be there
Hmm.
for that, great. But I thought
Hmm.
the if I were to summarize the comparison in like one word, it would be the difference between them is lazy. Silver Elite to
Mm-hmm.
me feels lazy
Yeah.
compared to this.
Yeah.
This feels well thought out. Like you really surely cared, definitely really cared about the storyline and getting it right and making it
Hmm.
complex. And the other one was like pretty girl, hot man,
Yeah.
meet in camp. She no want to be there. You know?
Yeah. Basically.
So, um, well,
Yeah.
that was fun. What are we doing for
Success.
our next one? Have we decided?
We haven't decided. Um, we can decide. Do you have anything that are any possible ones that are on your list right now?
I kind of want to. I'm drawn to Will of the Many at this point. I
You
feel like
want
we're ready
to?
for that. That's what I'm leaning towards.
Okay, I'm down. I've had that itch for a while. I've been wanting to. Fantasy, so not romantasy. So
We'll leave it on a TBD, but I'm
yeah,
leaning Will of the Many for
gotta do
now.
it sometime. Yeah,
But we did it finally.
awesome.
Couple months apart.
Yeah, book number two done. Um, yeah, only took us 2 episodes.
Yeah. I think next one our plan
Not
is
by
going to be
choice.
to do more of like a half and half, like first half of the book, second half of the book
Yeah,
situation, or at the very most split into thirds. And
yeah.
like, I do think we're going to shift way more towards like really quick summary, and then we're going to go into like all of our questions or like what we've learned or
Yeah.
like those types of moments. So I know I'm going to write really good notes moving. I'm just going to get like a
Yeah.
reading notebook, and
Mm.
that's going to be where I summarize every chapter in like 2 or 3 sentences, and then move forward to like the juicy stuff, our thoughts, our
Yeah.
opinions, like quotes that
Yeah.
stood out to us, things like that.
Yeah. I think this one, our schedules got in the way.
Yeah, it took a hit because of all
We,
that stuff.
yeah, and we got excited that we just kind of read through, but
Yeah, our messiest episode yet, for sure.
yeah, yeah, and probably our longest
We
too.
did it.
So,
We did it.
yeah. All right, everybody. See you next
Till next
time.
time.